I don't want to do this. I'm being asked to, but I don't want to do it, and it's not fun for me to explain it because I'm in a difficult spot. It's like, why explain if I know that the majority of people are not going to believe it? Why even take time to explain? Yeah, I'm being asked to do it. And I really don't want to. With several months that this channel has been in existence, if you look at some of the very first videos that I posted on this channel and you compare that to the more recent ones that I've been doing currently to this video, some of you may at first glance either think something's off, different, or think that maybe even it's a totally different person doing the video at first glance. But at this point, I mean, it's obvious that you can still, most people can still recognize it's the same person so far. I've had several rude people lately ask me to clarify what my gender is. And like I said, if I was doing this in an era like 40 some years ago, or I don't even know how long ago it would be, but in an era that before this technology existed, I think ironically more people would believe me. But the fact that now the technology exists that you know, people can do this with getting treatments and surgeries and things. No one's going to believe me when I say that this is not because of anything that I've not gotten any treatment, and and it's still in the beginning stages, but I felt like I should address it before it got too prominent, because I'm already getting people asking me questions and looking at me odd. Just out in public, I've noticed some odd looks and questions. I felt like I should address it now. And people don't, they're small-minded. They're not, most people are not going to, when I say that no, this is me naturally doing this and it's not influenced by anything, I'm not taking anything, I've not had any kind of, you know, surgery or treatment done. And in fact, you know, when I was born, I was born, let's just say, different, and I paid the price for it. And I don't want to go into too grave of detail, but I almost have to say a little bit of this to explain. When I was born, this goes into shape-shifting and stuff like that, so, you know, if you don't believe in it, you're not going to believe in anything. But I was already born, you know, being not one or the other, but it just, something happened when I was really young, like really young, like only a few days old, maybe a day old. And I think I feared something. I feared something. Maybe I thought being a woman would be less threatening. I don't know. But I think I partially shifted. It could have just been a simple fear of wanting to keep my body intact, you know. But I did something, and it kind of shifted me into this neither gender, just this kind of hermaphrodite gender. When I was born, I was at first presumed a boy, and then later that same day they changed it to girl. And I'm not lying, but you're gonna think I am. And then several weeks later, this started several weeks after I was born, but it carried on like 6, 7, 8 years. My sadistic, evil family, had noticed something different about me and started with they put it in Vaseline, and it was like a chemical, and it literally chemically burnt parts of me. And to this day, doctors ask me how I got all this scar tissue, And like I said, I don't want to go into too grave detail, but you can kind of understand that, even with as much as I guess I shifted, it wasn't enough. There was still a part of me I couldn't hide that was not normal. And I'd been abused my entire childhood, and just basically I'm doing this not because I just simply want to, but because it's about fucking time that I'm allowed to be what I really am. And that's a part of my mending. And I thought, okay, if this really happened as a child, I've been told by different random clairvoyants that didn't know one another that I was a physical shapeshifter, and that, really it's mostly animal that I shift into. But I'm thinking, okay, there's another aspect of this here, because as I was a child, being born and then them changing it at the last minute to a different gender before I even leave the hospital, I'm thinking, I did something. Let me undo it, because that's not me. My soul, my spirit really is male. It's masculine. So let me undo whatever I did. Whatever reason it was, I was trying to hide who I really was in hopes that they wouldn't do anything to me. So I would appear less threatening or something. I don't know, but it wasn't me. So whatever I did to hide who I really was, let me reverse it. And I'm being told that, actually I have to complete that. That, coming back to what I really am, part of my own mending before I can even shapeshift to be an animal shifter. Part of my mending is in ancient paganism we do believe in physical shifting, but I understand most people that watch this are going to be the modern paganism. They're not going to believe in it. But for me to even do that, I have to first, mend mind, body, soul. We talk about that a lot in a lot of these videos, where I say, your mind, body, soul have to be balanced and strong enough, or you can't even shift, and that's why it's so rare to even. So I personally have potential to, but until I'm mind, body, soul balanced, I won't be able to, at least not fully. And so part of that is that I need to become, what I was meant to be. And I need to, basically, this is actually going into more of a metamorphosis than a shape shifting. What I call metamorphosis is a slower, typically a slower progress, not always, but it is a trading for one or the other. Shape shifting, most of the time you think about shifting back and forth, and really you could use these words interchangeably, but basically the way I look at it is, it's, I'm giving up what I'm not anyway. I'm giving up the feminine side of me to be 100% male. And yes, I'm doing this, like I said, with magic, but everyone's gonna think it's some kind of scientific, I saw a doctor or something. And that's why I'm sitting here saying, why do I even bother? Why do I even bother explaining? No one's going to listen to me. But that's 100% pure through magic and nothing else. I made a mistake when I was very young. I hid who I was, and I want to become who I really am. The reflection of my soul is masculine, and over the last few years I've worked on trying to shift my gender through magic, and finally I've gotten to the point where I think it's starting to, just a hair, it's barely starting to be recognizable, because people, like I said, some rude people have been asking me to clarify what my gender is, and then I've gotten some rude looks. I've noticed my own body changing a little. I've noticed, not very often, but I've noticed some issues with my voice. And I don't know how big of an issue that's going to be later on, but I've noticed some issues. Sometimes I'll go to talk and I'll notice it's like it's hoarse or something, and so I expect that eventually my voice is going to change too. I not suspect, I know that if I succeed in this, it will change. And if I don't succeed in it, then I'll just look like an it for the rest of my life. That'll be better than what I was, I guess. Honestly, it kind of makes me feel better knowing that other people see something too, that it's not just me, that other people are noticing too. But I felt like I needed to tell people before it got too noticeable, before it got too late to say something. So I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing these videos for, but there's a good chance, because there's only so much I can post, right? I mean, as far as to a certain extent, I've gone over everything I know to go over. So I don't know, depends on how quickly I get everything up, but eventually if I keep posting things through a more drawn out period of time, you may see a bit of a difference in my appearance if you haven't already. And I just want to explain why. Actually, I didn't want to. I was asked to, and I didn't want to, but I've asked to explain why, and there you go, that's why.